Hey monkey, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's time for Joel and the Monkey. One is hairy and the other smells funny. Joel and the Monkey. One loves bananas and the other loves money. Joel and the Monkey Show. Joel and the Monkey was not filmed in front of a live studio audience.
And we're on. Hey everybody, I'm Joel. And next to me is the one and only Monkey. Hey, Monkey, stay out of the bowl filled with peanuts. Those are for guests. Yep, leave them alone. Those peanuts are for guests. All right. Thank you, buddy. Anyways, hey, let's just dive right into it. I got a fun little story for you. And just a little heads up for anybody listening. I don't really like to drop names a lot, especially if I don't know the person personally. One, because I'm dumb and I have a hard time remembering names and I really don't want to screw them up. And two, yeah, you know what, do your own research. If you really want to learn about these people and the amazing things they do or the dumb things they do, look them up yourselves. Do your own research. This is a podcast. You shouldn't be trusting a word I say. If I name any celebrities or famous people or adult stars or whatever, they don't count. Yeah, no, they're not real people. Anyways, so interesting story about graffiti. I know you'll love this one. We all love graffiti. Who doesn't love street art? Well, back in the early 2000s, say 2001, 2002, around there was a artist who had kind of gotten frustrated with, in general, just the highway signs. And there was a sign on the main highway in California that essentially didn't let people know that there was going to be immediate ramp on your left. And the guy kind of found this frustrating. And so he decided to take matters in his own hands. And he filmed himself spending a couple weeks prepping and preparing and making an exact sign that looked like any normal street or highway sign. And to make it even cooler, he filmed the whole process, did a little documentary about it, and even went out to the highway and went up to where the sign was and installed the sign himself, installed his own little highway sign. He even, to be funny, signed the back of it. And the sign would notify people that, hey, there was just an upcoming ramp on the left. That's it. Just something simple. And anybody looking on it would immediately think that it was done by the California highway. And there was no indication or anything telling anybody that this was just some regular street graffiti. And it went unnoticed for about 8 or 9 months. And the artist kind of got a little frustrated because nobody caught on. So he just called the media and told them, hey, the little sign over here on highway so-and-so, I put that up there. And it immediately became a big firestorm. All these media started reporting on it. Hey, some local Joe Blow hampered with government or just highway signs. That's not cool. And they even reached out to the California Highway and Safety Commission to ask them on how they feel about this. And they had mixed feelings. They were like, hey, we appreciate him doing this. That was very nice. It's a nice gesture. It's very helpful to a lot of people, I'm sure. But at the same time, there is a process, and we could have installed that sign ourselves. He didn't need to do that. We can't just have random strangers just tampering with government property. So finally, about 9 years later, they got around to fixing the sign. And you heard that right. The amazing highway patrol and safety board and whatnot finally got around to taking down the graffiti sign and putting up a actual government official state sign 9 years later, which makes you wonder why this guy did the graffiti to begin with. The fun part with all of this is he would actually mention that this isn't the first time he's done this. And this definitely won't be the last time he does this. This is just the first time he's reported it to the news. So you could actually be walking around or driving around today and possibly see this guy's street graffiti and have no idea. Maybe there was a stop sign that just randomly popped up in an area and you just thought, oh, hey, man, the highway or, the city just finally got around to, making a safe little spot there or putting a stop sign there. And it could very well just been this guy. So it's just it's a fun little thing that it's actual positive graffiti that helps people. And I think that's a pretty fun story and something different for sure. And I encourage anybody listening, you should definitely go look the gentleman up. He did a little documentary, and he even filmed himself from multiple angles, putting up the sign and even showing how he made it, because the guy was an artist. And one of his actual business or one of his jobs was making signs. So he knew exactly how to do this. And it's a fun little story. Encourage you to go look it up. Did you like that one, Monkey? No? Okay. You're taking a nap. It's boring you to tears. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Monkey found the story boring.
Hear ye. Joel has opinions.
Hey, and I know it's everybody's favorite little segment on the Joel and the Monkey Show. I'm going to go ahead and step on my soapbox for a minute. And I know, boo. Yeah, but y'all can shut up. I don't care. So, I don't know how familiar all of you are with the Haktua girl. And if you're not familiar, I'll go ahead and give you a quick little catch-up. There was a girl who was being interviewed on the street, and they asked her some joke about how to impress a man or something along that line. And she said, you got to give him that Haktua and spit on that thing. It's a crude, sex joke, about fellatio. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, just potty humor stuff. Not saying it wasn't funny, but it's very lowbrow stuff. Nothing we haven't all heard before. But the internet immediately blew up and lost their ever-loving mind over this girl and this essential, just what should just be a meme. But she's got t-shirts, she's, opening for, musicians and doing just tours, all kinds of stuff. Her career is just blowing up right now. And you know what? I think it's amazing. It's awesome for her. And I hope, she's able to keep riding that gravy train and make a lot of money and do something really great with her life. And then I see she seems like a really decent person. Every interview and thing I've seen from the girl has just been really nice. She just seems like just a really down-to-earth person. She doesn't mess with Facebook and social media. She's got a good relationship with her family. She's Christian. Just seems like just a really down-to-earth person. Which, getting onto the soapbox topic, a lot of people have been harassing her about when she's going to start an OnlyFans. And to be fair, if you're known for Haktua spit on that thing, a sex joke, OnlyFans just seems like the natural pivot. But it's just kind of disgusting that just as a culture, anytime some woman does something or even some guy does something and they get a little bit of fame, we're all immediately like, when are we going to see your junk? When are you going to take that shirt off? And that's our immediate go-to. We do this crap with celebrities. We immediately reference the first movie or TV show or whatever we can think of when some actress took her shirt off, or, some guy, you got to see his junk. Somebody can go, hey, remember Halle Berry? Oh, yeah, I love Halle Berry in Swordfish when she was naked in that one scene. And if that's your first reference of any actor or actress, you need to talk to somebody, man. That shouldn't be your first go-to for anything. Remember that time they were naked? No, I don't. I remember the time they had a great performance in a movie or film. Don't get me wrong, I might, if I do remember it, they were probably good looking or whatever, or it was probably really unimpressive, as most nude scenes are in movies. They usually come and go, and you're like, well, that happened. Saw that. Didn't want to. It is what it is. But it's just weird that as society, especially since OnlyFans has become a thing, we've become obsessed with when is this famous person going to finally show us the goods. It's just a weird thing that's going on in society right now. There was the Catch Me Outside girl, which I'm not going to give you the background story on her. If you know who she is, cool. If you don't, you're not missing anything. She was some 18-year-old, or I should think 17-year-old at the time when she became famous for saying, catch me outside, blah, blah, blah. But people were counting down the day she turned 18 and could start an OnlyFans. That was an actual thing. People did the same thing with the Olsen twins when they were growing up. People were counting down the day they turned 18. Even the girl from Stranger Things, Bobby Brown, Billy Bobby Brown. Is that what it is, Monkey? You're a big Stranger Things fan. Is it Billy Bobby Brown? Something like that? All right. But, yeah, people were counting down the day she turned 18. And it's just weird. It's just really, really weird. And there's no other way to put that. It's just creepy. But that's something that's being pushed so much right now. And I don't know where it's coming from or why. Why are we counting down the day somebody becomes legally 18 and can show us their goods? And why are we harassing these people? The Catch Me Outside girl did start an OnlyFans. And the insane part was she had millions of people subscribing on day one. I don't even think she did nudes. I don't know, because I don't get on OnlyFans because I don't care about that stuff. But I don't even think she did nudes. I think she just did like sexy bikini pictures and stuff like that. But people were still losing their mind. Even actual adult performers were getting mad that some little, Joe Blow off the street was bringing in more revenue than they were, who actually do this as a career. And the Hawk 2 girl was getting harassed constantly. Or OnlyFans, when are you going to start OnlyFans? When are you going to start showing us feet pictures? When are you going to start doing this? When are you going to start doing... And she had to actually come out multiple times and say, guys, I'm not doing an OnlyFans. Leave me the hell alone. Leave that girl alone. And you know what? I maybe I should respect her even more, that she wasn't immediately going like, well, while the getting's good, might as well take my shirt off. Because there's so many people that would do that. There are actors right now in Hollywood who are doing OnlyFans and stuff like that. And they were well-known actors. There were people, or they were well-known actors, or they were relevant actors. I think I heard recently there was a couple actors that were in Sopranos. Female actresses that were in Sopranos that are now doing OnlyFans in their like 30s and 40s, which is just sad. It's sad that that's our immediate go-to as a country or just in any culture, that if like, hey, if you want to make money, take the shirt off. Show a little skin. And I think we can do a lot better. As people, we should do better in general. But hey, leave them girls alone. Like Pink Floyd or whatever band saying that. I always remember the Korn version. The other version rocks, in my opinion. But yeah, just leave them kids alone. That's all I got to really say on that. Just get off their backs. Let kids be kids. And quit being a weirdo about a bunch of 18-year-olds. Or just any girl in general. Just want them to take their clothes off for your entertainment. It's just sad. Move on. What's that, monkey? Well, you can subscribe to OnlyFans. I don't care what you do on your free time. You look up whatever you want. I don't judge. But that's not my cup of tea. So moving on, monkey. We're moving on.
There's something in those woods. Something that terrifies the locals. Beady black eyes, sharp pointy nails. Sounds like a demon. Not many people have seen it, but I have. I call it the Devil Monkey.
So now, stepping off of my soapbox, let's go ahead and talk about some conspiracy theories. No, monkey, we're not going to talk about how Pamela Anderson is actually a cyborg. No, we're saving that for another time. No, I don't care if you want to talk about Pamela Anderson. So we're going to actually talk about something that is a conspiracy theory that's not really being talked about, but also something that's really close to my heart. I know we all remember growing up as kids, and there might be a candy bar that we really loved that eventually goes out of business, or, some favorite, food, snack, whatever, that just all of a sudden one day just disappears. And you find out, there's some crazy story behind it. They were using rats or whatever to make the food, just something wacky. But usually there ends up being a story behind why it disappeared. But in this case, I want to talk about cotton candy flavored ice cream and the sudden erasure of that flavor and how no one's talking about it. I don't hear Joe Rogan covering this one. So I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. We're all familiar with Dippin' Dots, Ben & Jerry's, Bluebell, all these different famous ice cream companies. And a lot of them have millions of flavors. Not really millions, but there are hundreds of flavors. If you can have peanut butter ice cream and, chocolate s'more ice cream. I actually just recently bought a birthday cake ice cream. You can't tell me that cotton candy didn't exist at one time. Because I clearly remember it wasn't that long ago when I was in high school and I could find cotton candy flavored ice cream anywhere. I could go into a local grocery store. I could go to a gas station. I could even go to the mom and pop burger place and give me a little ice cream cone and pick out chocolate or mint, vanilla, sherbet, strawberry, and even the delicious cotton candy flavored ice cream. But you ask anybody today if they've ever heard of cotton candy ice cream, they look at you like you're crazy. What? Cotton candy flavored ice cream? We got chicken and waffle flavor. What are you talking about? I've never heard of cotton candy ice cream. Cotton candy ice cream did exist. And there's been a big cover-up to make it seem like it never existed at all. And I want to know why. Why all of a sudden the erasure of this flavor? I know Bluebell is a company that still exists and carried cotton candy ice cream. The company didn't go out of business. There wasn't some horrendous story that came out, talking about, they use mutated cows or some weird fish that doesn't exist anymore to make the flavor. There's no story like that that's come out to explain why that ice cream flavor doesn't exist anymore. And if there was a weird story that came out, they were using some weird substance or some animal or something to make their ice cream, why wouldn't it affect all ice cream flavors? Why this particular one? What is the cover-up and reason behind getting rid of this one flavor? I'm sorry, if we can have peanut butter flavor ice cream, we can have cotton candy. There's somebody out there, somebody like me, somebody like Monkey here, who loves cotton candy ice cream. And I just don't get it. There is some conspiracy there. There's something going on. There is a deep state thing happening to keep people from discovering the delicious and wonderful flavor that was cotton candy ice cream. And I would go so far to believe that even maybe all the rich elites are hogging the delicious flavor of cotton candy ice cream all for themselves. So I think if the general population remembered just how good that flavor was, there would be mass panic in stores. People would be tearing apart aisles. Think about what happened with the toilet paper shortage during COVID. Or, when everybody was losing their mind to get the little Nintendo knockoff thing, with 50 games that was being sold around Christmas. Everybody was going crazy over. We can all remember a distinct time and place where there was a product or food or a certain thing that people were just killing each other to get. I think the government is worried that if people found out how good cotton candy ice cream was, there would be mass panic worldwide. Wars would start over the cotton candy flavor. Countries would destroy each other to harness the rich and delicious minerals that are cotton candy ice cream. And I'm just think a lot of people need to be on the up and up on what's going on. I know that there's a bigger conspiracy and thing to this. Forget the Illuminati, forget Epstein's Island. I think what really happens when you become famous, they take you to a certain person's house. Maybe you go to the White House. Maybe you go to a secret room in the White House, and maybe a bunch of people in hoods, rich, powerful elites surround you. And they put a bowl in front of you with a spoon, and all you see is the delicious cotton candy ice cream. And they make you eat the whole bowl. And after eating the whole bowl, your mind is just blown. You're awakened. You're officially hooked. It's like you're on a personal heroin. And the only way you can get it is if you keep playing ball. You screw up, no more cotton candy ice cream for you. You don't say what they want, do what they want you to do, you're cut off. And that's really what's going on. That's really how they control you. Yeah, and you know what, Monkey? It is serious to me. It just ticks me off, guys. I want cotton candy ice cream. It's BS. I was just at the grocery store today. I saw 100 flavors. Literally, they had Oreo flavored ice cream. Oreo flavor. You could get an Oreo and it just by itself. Why do you need to put that in ice cream? You could go get an Oreo, go get just some regular vanilla ice cream, crumble up the little Oreos into the ice cream and just eat it. You know, like that. Why do you need to pay an extra couple dollars to have it put in your ice cream for you? It's BS. Just give me back the cotton candy ice cream, guys. Just give it back. You know, I'm okay. I'm calming down. I'm sorry. Just, I want some answers. I think America deserves some answers. I think people deserve some answers. You can't just bring us, this delicious treat from the heavens and then just take it away. It's just wrong. It's wrong. It's hurtful. It's just evil. And I'm tired of living this lie. I'm tired. America needs to open up their eyes and people need to really see what's going on. And I think that's it for that for now. I'm going to take a little breather, calm down, and we're going to come back. So I want to apologize for my behavior earlier. Me and Monkey went outside. We had a little cigarette. We talked for a little bit. I calmed down. And we're going to go ahead and try a new little segment here. I'm doing something different, seeing what we can throw at the wall and see what sticks. This one is going to be called
Stupidity in the Wild.
I wanted to go with a different title, but apparently the hard R word is frowned upon. So, you win this time, Cartoon Network. Now, this segment's going to be called Stupidity in the Wild, and I want to talk about just a really dumb story. There was a woman who recently married a billionaire, not a millionaire, but a billionaire. This guy was an heir to some huge family fortune in big company. And the woman married this guy, and as marriages go, she acquired his last name. In her little excitement, she got all wound up, and she immediately started changing her Facebook page, and Snapchat, everything to her new last name. But to her horror, she found out that somebody already had her name, her new name, as their Instagram. And she was floored by it, was extremely upset. But she's a rational person, as we will all find out. And she contacted the person who had that Instagram page and went, hey, I noticed you have this name, and that's my new name now, and I want that name. And can you just sell that name to me so I don't have to be, Jessica Appleby's, the real Jessica Appleby's, or Jessica Appleby's 123. Her name wasn't really Jessica Appleby's, but I'm just using that for example. And the person on Instagram told her to kind of go pound rocks, and it informed her that it's actually illegal to make a Facebook profile or Twitter or Instagram or whatever and sell it to somebody. It's actually considered a crime and can get you banned for life. And so the person was like, nope, sorry, no dice. I'm not selling you my Instagram username. And the girl, was like, okay, I understand. Well, can you just change it? And the person responded kindly again, no. And she was not having that. She continually harassed this person, berating her, going, is this even your real name? Are you even, there's no way you and I have the same name. That's just impossible. Statistically, it doesn't happen. And she would not leave this person alone, harassing her for days, weeks. And even so far as to accuse her as not being from the U.S., because she said she Googled, and apparently the person she married has an extremely rare last name, and it's one of the only families with that last name in America. Think Roosevelt, think the Gates, think whatever. The Kennedys. They're this big family, and there isn't any other family with that name connected to them. And she's like, there is no way you had the same last name as me in the United States. And that's when the girl informed her, I'm not from the U.S. I'm actually from another country. And the heiress was just not having it. Or I should say the heiress's wife was just not having this. It would not leave the girl alone. So finally, the girl actually had to file a harassment thing against her with Instagram saying, hey, this user won't leave me alone. She's constantly harassing me and you need to do something about it. And Instagram stepped in and told her to leave her the hell alone. And to make it even better, the girl actually even published or even went public with this information of like, hey, I've got this rich billionaire's wife harassing me and won't leave me alone over at my Instagram username because she doesn't want to be Jessica Appleby's 123 or the real Jessica Appleby's. And it became a big funny thing. Everybody, universally laughed at this rich girl and had a good giggle at her expense. And the rich girl ended up admitting her defeat and went with some other Instagram name that we weren't ever given. Real upset about that. I think we should all know what her new Instagram name is if she did go with Jessica Appleby's 123 or something funnier. But it's just one of those stupidity in the wild. What can you really say?
War never changes.
Hey guys, so we're getting down to the last little segment, and we're going to talk about some war stories of mine. I've seen some things, I've done some stuff, man, I would recommend it. Monkey, this one's kind of going to be a little bit of a long story, so I don't care. You can have some peanuts from the little jar. Even though it's for guests, just this one time, okay? So I was working at a truck stop at one point in my long, illustrious career of many jobs, and I was getting off work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I saw a girl. She was maybe in her late teens, early 20s. Essentially, she was only a few years younger than me. She was sitting in front of the store crying, seemed very upset, and me being the kind guy I am, I asked her, like, hey, is everything okay? And she was explaining that she needs to get a ride to Houston. It was asking if I wouldn't mind giving her a ride to Houston. And I was like, yeah, sure. So do you have family in Houston? And she goes, no, all my family's from Wisconsin. And I'm like, so are you from around here? And your car broke down? And she goes, no, I'm from Mississippi. So it raised a whole lot of questions. I'm like, why are you here if you're from Mississippi? Why don't you go to Wisconsin? And she goes, well, I moved here because I was looking for a job and I'm trying to get to Houston because there's a women's shelter there and I'm hoping I can stay the night there. And it was just a lot of information that she's throwing at me, and we're having this conversation literally in front of a truck stop. And I'm like, look, there's McDonald's next door. Why don't we go next door, grab a bite to eat? Are you hungry? I'm hungry. And she goes, I don't have money. Don't worry about it. I got you. So we go to McDonald's and we sit down. I order some food and she just dumps a lot of exposition onto me, telling me her whole backstory of essentially she had a bad childhood. There was rough things at home with family. So she moved to Mississippi, tried to get a new fresh start and things weren't working out there. And so she decided to come here to Texas because she heard there was a lot of good jobs and stuff available, but she's homeless and been hitchhiking and essentially just prostituting herself to get here. And all of it was just horrific stuff to have to hear about. Especially a lot to have to hear after getting off of a long shift. So I told her I'd help her out. I was going to make some phone calls and see if there was maybe a local church or some organization in the area that could help her out. All the churches basically were like, no, we're busy, we don't have time, we've heard this story a million times, and we're tired of dealing with these kind of people. Just every church seemed to basically give me the same answer of like, no, we don't want to help people today. Stop bothering us. And I even remembered that there was a Red Cross in the area, and I contacted them, and their response was, unless she's homeless due to a natural disaster, we don't care. Just a lot of really caring people out there. And finally, I was able to get a hold of a organization. They told me about a place about our way in Brenham that could help her out. They deal with they were kind of like a rehab center that deal with a lot of addicts who are recovering or people who are going through some hard situations and need a place to kind of get back on their feet. So I told her I could take her there if that's all right. And she was very hesitant, like, I really need to go to Breno. I really need to go to Houston. And I told her, like, look, flat out, I'm not taking you to Houston. I'm not driving to downtown Houston to take you to, women's shelter. I don't even know what the hell is where it is in Houston. And honestly, I don't even want to take you to Brenham. I'm doing this. It's a place to stay for a couple days, somewhere to kind of help get you on your feet. It's something. You take it or leave it. She finally is like, okay, we can go to Brenham. So I drive an hour with a stranger in my car who I just met, who I recently found out was prostituting herself to get here, who I have known nothing about as far as like her psychological history or anything about this girl. All I knew was I was like, hey, I'm bigger than her, so if crap hits the fan, I think I can handle whatever she throws at me. I got this. I also told her that I needed to make a phone call. I called my girlfriend at the time to just be like, hey, look, I'm helping out a prostitute. It's not what you think. This is a long story. I've got to take her to Brenham, get her to a shelter. I will give you the whole story when I get home. And she, being the awesome girlfriend, was like, it's cool. She laughed. You can tell me about it later. So I get to Brenham, and the people there at the church are like, why is she here? And they're giving me the runaround too. And I explain, well, she's from Mississippi, and she's trying to get to Houston. And they were like, does she have family in Houston? I went, no, her family's from Wisconsin. And they said, well, if her family's from Wisconsin, why did she go to Wisconsin? And I went, well, because she's got trouble at home. And it was a lot, and they were just like, okay, look, we have some rooms. They're really meant for addicts and recovering alcoholics, but we'll take care of her, man. Well, we got it from here. They even actually at one point were like, can't you just take her to Houston? There's a women's shelter there. And I was like, no, I'm not taking her anywhere. I don't know this person. And they were like, okay, fine. We'll take her. We got rooms. She's not our normal clientele, but we'll take her nonetheless. They were even doing like a potluck, so they had some free food. At this point, it's like lunchtime. It's been hours since I've got off work, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing lunch. Do you want to stay and have lunch?" And I'm like, "No, I'm really good." And they're like, "You should stay and have lunch. We've got spaghetti and meatball and salad and garlic bread." And I'm like, okay, I'm so defeated at this point that I'm just like, okay, I'll eat whatever you give me. Just, I want this to go away. And while I'm eating, they're grilling me. So, how do you know her? Are you her boyfriend? What's your situation? And I'm like, no, I just met her at a truck stop, which is making them ask more questions of like, so you met her at a truck stop and you're giving her a ride here. Was she pay you for the ride? How was she compensating you? We noticed she had a brand new pack of cigarettes. And I'm like, look, I work at a truck stop. I was trying to do a nice thing for a stranger because in my mind, I kept hearing, hey, you do good things for people, good things come back to you. Karma's real. And in my back of my mind, I just keep hearing, good things are going to happen to you, Joel. You're going to have some good stuff happen. Exactly, monkey. Good things are coming my way. I mean, so many good things, from this. And these people are basically just like, are you her pimp? They're just grueling me so hard. And I'm just like, I am just a stranger just trying to do a nice thing. And I don't think they bought that story at all. I think they were very like, yeah, I'm sure this guy's sus, but whatever. The very, very end of it, I said my goodbyes to the girl. Hey, these people are going to take care of you. They're going to help you out. She was real emotional. She's like, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing all this and not asking me to blow you or anything weird for compensation. I'm like, that's good. Just please never, ever bother me again. Don't ever come back to where I work. I really never want to see you again. This has just been a absolute just mess of anxiety, and I just want this to be done and over with. And then I had a nice hour drive home. I get home, and then I explain the whole story to my girlfriend, who then laughs and goes, you're going to get murdered one day. And that's why I don't pick up strangers anymore or try to do nice things for folks, because everybody might think I'm their pimp, or I'm trying to pimp out somebody, or, you know, just whatever. It's just, people are judgy and need to stop being judgy. And this was just a really traumatic experience for me. And as you'll learn with all of my stories, I will probably get murdered due to my kindness or way too trusting nature, or just complete oblivious nature to what's going on around me. But anyways, that's why I tell these stories so you guys can laugh. And I hope you got a good laugh at my trauma. And you have a wonderful day. Stay classy. And you got anything to say, Monkey? Alright, there you go. Got a little stay classy for Monkey. Alright, take care.